The Brooklyn Nets have signed Blake Griffin for the remainder of the season. They picked him up off of waivers. I actually hate waivers, to be real with y'all. I understand why teams do it. Like the Detroit Pistons were able to save some money next year by getting rid of Blake Griffin's contract, right? And it'll save them some money down the line, and they can do other things. I actually hate it, though, because what ends up happening is bad teams are rewarded for signing guys to deals years back in which they knew that they would get out of it, like, towards the end. Like, I don't like that. There's a cap in the NBA for a reason, and you're kind of rewarding bad teams for mistakes that they possibly made, signing guys that didn't pan out for them. For whatever the reason was, it didn't pan out. So the Nets got Blake. Trust and believe me, I'm not sure if they're done yet. So the Lakers want Andre Drummond or Hassan Whiteside. Andre Drummond is expected, if the Cavaliers are unable to pull off a trade for Drummond, who's been sitting out, they're going to do something with him at the deadline. He's either going to get traded or he's going to get waived and stretched. You're not just going to bring Drummond back into your lineup after sitting him the last few weeks. So we know something's going to happen with Drummond. All we've heard is that the Raptors are the team that would likely go after Drummond in a trade, and if not them, he's probably going to get waived. If he gets waived, Drummond's a free agent to be after the year. If Drummond gets waived, I'm hearing Drummond wants to be a Brooklyn Net more than he wants to be a Los Angeles Laker. Now, rarely do you hear that. Somebody choosing to go to Brooklyn over LA. To me, that tells me either Drummond's got some real relationships with some guys in Brooklyn, or Drummond really believes the Nets are a better team than the Lakers, because he's turning down an opportunity to play with AD and LeBron. By the way, I think Drummond, and I know I am a Lakers fan, here comes my little bit of bias in this video. I believe Drummond would fit seamlessly with AD and LeBron in LA. Like, if you think about the guys that worked with the Lakers last year, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, I think Dwight was the best fit with AD. But Drummond is probably right behind Dwight. I think he's a better fit than JaVale McGee, but probably not as good of a fit as Dwight. We will see if Drummond gives the Lakers a real chance. I cannot believe he's thinking about picking the Nets over the Lakers, but it looks like that's where we're at. And that probably tells you a little bit of what this gentleman thinks of the Nets versus the Lakers right now. He might think the Nets are just a little bit of a situation right now, could get him an easy championship as he's looking to get a bigger bag this summer when he's a free agent. The Lakers have not signed. I think here's the Lakers' thought process behind the waiver wire, right? To me, they're going to go after Andre Drummond first. They're going to wait and leave that roster spot open. I know Damian Jones got it right now, but they'll let him go. He's on like 10-day contracts. To me, they're going to keep that spot, for all intents and purposes, open to see if they can go get Drummond. If they cannot go get Drummond, I think then they're going to try to go get Hassan Whiteside. And if they can't go get Whiteside, I think, all right, we'll just give the spot to DeMarcus Cousins, a guy who was on our roster for most of last year. We gave a championship to him. He's got good chemistry with LeBron. If all else fails, we'll go get Cousins. But the Lakers are going to go out after Drummond first. And then be clear, the Nets have 2 exceptions available. They were granted an exception, which is around $5 to $6 million for Spencer Dinwiddie, who got injured really, really early in the year. They got an injury exception for him, and they still have, somehow, some way, they still have their mid-level exception. So they can go out and not only sign a guy, they can actually give him about $5, $6 million if they wanted to. I don't even think it'll take that much money to get Drummond, and he'll probably just, if that dude's willing to pick the Nets over the Lakers, he just wants to be there. He'll probably take the veterans minimum, which would still give the Nets the opportunity to go out and sign additional guys for upwards about $5 to $6 million. Be clear, man. Blake Griffin taking the veterans minimum because he's been so paid throughout his career in the NBA, that's a big deal. That means the Nets have not only minimum spots available, but they got mid-level exception and injury exception spots available. That is something, man. Do not be shocked if the Nets not only bring in Blake, but they also bring in a guy like Andre Drummond, because it looks like he wants to be there over the Lakers right now. Catch full new episodes of FERRO's music-based platform every day only on YouTube at It's Mr. Taliaferro. You can also find clips, updates, giveaways, and more on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, also at It's Mr. Taliaferro. For all basketball fans, make sure you tune in to FERRO's daily highlights, reports, and commentary on YouTube at FERRO, and even more updates on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FERRO as well.